I know about the revolving restaurant Levi mentioned. Only someone with a status equivalent to Brian can reserve the entire restaurant. Who does Levi think he is? This is an impossible feat for him. Moreover, I doubt Levi can afford a few million now. Steve said, let's go and take a look at the revolving restaurant you've reserved then. The time is still early anyway. If anything goes wrong, we can always go to Kempinski Hotel since it's nearby. All right. Let's go have a look at the restaurant then. Theo and June could not wait for Levi to make a fool out of himself. Aaron and Caitlin had no other choice but to follow them helplessly. Zoe's mood dampened. I should really talk to Levi if things go south. Aaron, why don't you join us in our car with Caitlin? Let the youngsters take the other car. Steve was creating an opportunity for his son. In the end, Zoe and Abigail entered Theo's Mercedes-Benz G. I do not think someone as high and mighty as you should lower your status to sit in my car, Mr. Garrison. You should take a cab instead. Theo said to Levi with a smile. Take my car. Zoe handed her car keys to Levi. The three cars arrived at Northampton City Centre one after the other. Zoe started to feel uneasy. Her hands that were wrapped around Abigail's arm were trembling. She was actually anticipating the surprise Levi prepared for her. But on the other hand, she was afraid of facing the harsh reality. Theo stopped in his tracks abruptly and asked Levi, "Oh. I heard that the revolving restaurant would provide customers with a gilded card after a successful reservation. That card is the pass to enter the restaurant." Steve nodded in agreement. He's right. The restaurant sends the card to the customer's house in a Rolls-Royce, and the card is coated with real gold. Many celebrities and millionaires even keep the gilded card as a souvenir to signify their status. Theo narrowed his eyes at Levi. Where's your card, Mr. Garrison? Can we have a look at it? Steve added. Yeah. We've never seen the card in person. Why don't you enlighten us? Zoe's anxiety intensified. She knew Levi did not have the card as soon as she looked at him. This restaurant requires a 1-month booking in advance. Levi was released from prison 2 weeks ago. There's no way he made a reservation in time. Even Abigail was dumbfounded. We really do not have the card. Aaron's displeased voice was heard. Do you have the card or not? Show us if you have it. Levi said magnanimously. I do not have the card because I reserved the entire place. This is different from booking a table. Ha ha ha. You don't have to sugarcoat your words if you don't have the card. Theo regarded Levi like he's a fool. Steve shook his head helplessly. This young man is nothing compared to my son, yet he was the dark horse of Northampton's business world 6 years ago. This is the extent of his capabilities. I'll apologize on his behalf, Steve and June. Levi never changed his rotten personality of talking big. Aaron explained. June smiled without a care. Let's go then. We should hurry over to Kempinski Hotel. Wait a moment. Abigail stopped everyone from leaving. She suggested. Although Levi does not have the card, we can verify his statement once we're there at the restaurant, am I right? Steve scoffed. Sure. Let's go to the restaurant then. Everyone entered the elevator to go to the 88th floor. Ding. Zoe could feel her heart pounding heavily and restlessly against her chest as the elevator arrived on the 88th floor. Thump thump thump. But the next moment, everyone was showered with pieces of colorful glittery papers the moment they stepped out of the elevator. Happy birthday to you, the birthday song was heard. Unexpectedly, it was a professional band performing the song. Zoe looked up and saw the entire restaurant was decorated with huge pictures of herself. Every picture was a dear memory of the time she spent with Levi. The venue was decorated lavishly with flowers. A sparkling chandelier illuminated the floor with a warm glow. In the middle of the restaurant was a large, multi-tiered cake placed on top of a cart. Northampton City Centre Revolving Restaurant wishes you a happy birthday, Miss Zoe. You are the first and only person to have a birthday banquet here. So we dedicated a souvenir for you to remember this day. The restaurant manager handed a present to Zoe. At that moment, tears were already streaming down her cheeks. How touching! This is the best birthday celebration a girl can hope for. Abigail looked at Zoe in envy. On the other hand, Theo and the rest were stupefied. Let's go further into the restaurant, Zoe. Levi held Zoe's hand and led her towards the cake placed in the middle of the room. Levi gave a signal with a click of his fingers just as Zoe was caught in perplexity. Whoosh! A series of noises was heard. Bang! Fireworks were seen outside the windows swiftly after. Whoosh! Volleys of fireworks were launched upward to the sky, and the people inside the revolving restaurant would get a perfect view of the mesmerizing scenery. The fireworks were of the best quality as they lasted longer and covered a large area of the sky with dazzling sparks. In the end, two large and colorful words embellished the sky. Happy birthday! Everyone in Northampton was captivated by the breathtaking show of fireworks that filled the night sky at that moment. Clarity washed over Zoe. All these arrangements are dedicated to me. Finally, Levi grasped Zoe's hands. Zoe, I promise to protect and cherish you for the rest of my life. I will stay by your side for the rest of my life too. Zoe hugged Levi tightly. Aaron and Caitlin were touched by that scene. Levi really hosted a spectacular birthday banquet for Zoe in this place. All the colors drained from Theo and his parents' faces. I've made a thorough preparation for Zoe at Kempinski Hotel. But all my effort is completely insignificant compared to Levi's arrangements. Steve's face darkened. His only desire was to leave the place immediately. The birthday banquet lasted through the night. Theo, unsettled by the unexpected outcome, began investigating the matter. I do not believe Levi has the ability to book the entire restaurant. Looking into the matter was effortless with Nash family's influence. Theo suddenly laughed after a few minutes. Ha ha. Now I know what's going on. The young master of this restaurant is Abigail Sr. Moreover, he's been pursuing her. I finally understood how Mr. Garrison managed to reserve this place. So it's all because of Abigail. Everyone shifted their gazes onto Abigail, including Zoe. Abigail nodded. Yes. This restaurant belongs to my senior's family. But now. Theo interrupted Abigail before she could finish her explanation. I see. We understand everything now, Abigail. But I can see Mr. Garrison did place the effort to decorate this venue. Theo's superficial compliments were actually an attempt to mock Levi. They gave all the credits to Abigail for the successful birthday banquet because they thought Levi would never be able to reserve the restaurant without her help, but Zoe did not let go of Levi's hands. I am moved by your efforts no matter what. Zoe's heartfelt words were sufficient to fill Levi's heart with contentment. I could not care less about others' opinions. All I want to achieve is to please Zoe. Aaron and Caitlin's resentments toward Levi deepened upon hearing the whole story. He's just an opportunist. Everyone segued into the birthday banquet afterward. Aaron and Caitlin presented their gifts to Zoe, followed by Abigail. Then Steve and June handed the presents they prepared as well. Theo questioned Levi. I suppose your gift must be invaluable too, Mr. Garrison. I must humiliate him in front of everyone. That's right. What birthday gift did you prepare for Zoe? Caitlin could not suppress her curiosity. Levi smiled. I did not bring my gift. Well, it's more like I can't bring the present with me. So what you mean to say is that you did not prepare a present? Isn't that right, Mr. Garrison? Theo took out a delicate box and gifted the present to Zoe. This is my gift for you. It's a necklace from Cartier, the same design worn by a princess from a foreign country. I spent a lot of effort to lay my hands on this accessory. Caitlin eyed the sparkling necklace. This must have cost you a fortune, Theo. Not really, Aunt. It's about 800,000 only, said Theo with an indifferent tone. What? 800,000? Oh my God. Caitlin and the others were shocked. Thank you for the goodwill, Theo. As for the gift, I am not going to accept it as it's an expensive gift. Zoe rejected him firmly. But Steve and the others gazed in their direction solemnly. How can you reject Theo's kind intention? Caitlin accepted the present in Zoe's stead immediately. Theo looked at Levi. This is indeed a wonderful banquet, all thanks to Abigail, Mr. Garrison. You could have prepared a gift for Zoe though, even a cheap necklace to express your sincerity will do. June smiled. It is rather inappropriate for you to come empty-handed, not to mention with your special status. Aaron sighed and lowered his head shamefully. Caitlin was even more disgusted by Levi. That's enough. We're a married couple for so long, so there's really no need to fixate on that problem. Zoe smoothed things over in the end. Levi and Zoe left for a stroll after the banquet ended. I did prepare a birthday gift for you. Levi said all of a sudden. What? Zoe was surprised. Levi took out a bunch of keys with a label. It is time for us to have our own house and move out of your parents' house. Levi explained with a smile. What? Bayview Garden. Zoe was astounded after she read the label on the keys because she knew of the overpriced properties in that area. Even Harry Lopez will not joke about buying a house in Bayview Garden. Come on. Let's go have a look. Levi brought Zoe to Bayview Garden. Oh my God. What did you do? Zoe was losing her mind. Don't worry. I rented the house. What do you say if I'll have you pay the monthly rent? Levi joked. But he did not expect Zoe to believe in that joke. In her opinion, Levi certainly could not afford that house. He must have rented this place. But I'm touched, nonetheless. I'll pay for the rent. Zoe said in a rush. Zoe had a wonderful night. She was smiling even in her sleep. At the Lopez family house, everyone was infuriated when they heard about Zoe's extravagant evening. Zoe had her birthday party at Northampton City Center Revolving Restaurant. She's really spending money as she likes now. If it weren't for Grandpa's help, I bet they wouldn't even be able to enter the restaurant. Melanie roared. Henry and Fabian were dissatisfied. Aaron is a disappointment. If we did not help them previously, they would be begging on the streets now, Father. How dare they forget about their family after receiving that project? Harry grimaced. I did not expect them to go against me as well. Aaron and Zoe were obedient in the past. This is all Levi's fault. Did you not notice the way everything is changing since Levi's back? Melanie uttered. A menacing look flashed across Samuel's face. HMPH. Do they think they will be able to proceed with this project smoothly? Dream on. Harry looked at Samuel puzzlingly. Do you have any good idea, Samuel? Malicious intent glinted in Samuel's eyes. They should not be handling this project since we are not participating. Don't worry, Grandpa. I am acquainted with a mafia boss. If he's willing to help us. Harry asked. Who's the boss you're talking about? Everyone refers to him as Neuve. Samuel answered. Oh, you're talking about Neuve. He's infamous for killing over 100 people with an axe. They say no one can match his cruelty and bloodlust. I heard Neuve was imprisoned for 3 years in the same prison as Levi. He was released from jail last year. Harry and the others were obviously familiar with Neuve's name. All right. You will handle this, Samuel. I will pay for the money. Harry was prepared to risk everything. At this time, Zoe, Levi, and the others were unaware of the Lopez family scheme. Zoe went to monitor the construction site in person as the project for West City Ecological Park started. They hired a professional construction team due to their ample funding. A few buildings were already taking shape because of their high efficiency. That night, Zoe went to survey the site again. But she was met with a total mess, as if something terrible had happened. Zoe and Aaron jogged toward the scene hurriedly. They saw 2 parties standing up against one another. On one side were the construction workers, while the other side were a group of unfamiliar thugs with scary tattoos on their bodies. They were all carrying knives and other weapons as they closed in on the construction workers. Following closely behind the thugs were a group of villagers. What's going on? Zoe and Aaron asked as soon as they arrived. Ms. Lopez, they claimed themselves to be ex-residents in this area. They are here to create trouble because of the ongoing demolition. They destroyed our constructs and even harmed us. The team leader of the construction site exclaimed. This is so scary. They are evidently thugs who do not belong to this village. Zoe and Aaron shifted their gazes in the other direction. The people on the opposite side did resembled criminals who were recently released from prison. Not only that, they also gave off a sinister vibe, as if they were, in fact, murderers. I am the boss of this project. Talk to me if you have any dissatisfaction. Zoe addressed the crowd gravely. The person leading the thugs was a muscular man with tan skin. Horrible scars covered his face, shoulders, and body. The scars were obviously left behind after he recovered from grave injuries inflicted by knives. The sight of his scars was sufficient to invoke fear in most people. The man was nicknamed Chopper, and he was a famous person in their circle. He was also Neuve's right-hand man. Chopper sneered at Zoe while wielding 2 knives in each hand. You're the boss. This demolition is wrong in the first place. You forced your will on us and scammed us, the villagers. He's right. We want compensation. We will wreak havoc on this place if you do not compensate us. Under the thugs' leadership, the villagers shouted angrily. Zoe stared at them with all seriousness. I am sorry, but we've acquired the right to develop this area legally. If you feel that the compensation amount is not sufficient, then you should be looking for the department in charge of this matter, not us. Chopper jeered. We don't care about all those things. We're all just common folks here, and all we can see is that you are building things on our land. I will give you 2 choices. Compensate us handsomely, or we will destroy whatever you build here. That's right. We want compensation. Everyone shrieked. Zoe finally got the hang of the situation. They are here to stir up trouble. These thugs must have forced these villagers to cooperate. All right. How much do you want us to compensate you for? Zoe asked. We have made the calculations. You only need to compensate us with 1 billion. Chopper answered. Impossible. Don't even think about getting a single cent. Aaron retorted immediately. Chopper narrowed his eyes menacingly. If that's the case, then destroy everything. The few thugs and over 100 villagers began wrecking things after receiving Chopper's command. The workers tried to prevent them. But the thugs threatened them with knives aimed at their throats. I'll kill everyone who dares to move. Zoe and the workers could only watch idly at the side as they tear down everything that was built in sight, including the workers' resting area. After that, Chopper smiled satisfyingly. I'm warning you now, Zoe. We will come here every day and demolish everything you've built if you do not compensate us. Then he threatened the workers. I will kill all of you if you dare to inform the police. Chopper led the angry crowd away afterward. Zoe and Aaron were on the verge of tearing up at the sight of the mess. Chopper sneered at the villagers after they reached a secluded area. Go back to your houses now and do not tell anyone about this. I know your address, so I will find you and let you suffer the consequences should you disobey me. We know. We won't disobey you. The villagers left immediately. Chopper dialed a number and reported cheerfully. We've accomplished the task, Lord Nuve. An unpleasant voice was heard from the other line. This is some easy money provided by the Lopez family. All we have to do is destroy a few buildings. You're absolutely right. I will visit the construction site again tomorrow night, Lord Nuve. Chopper laughed out loud in excitement. On the other hand, inside a clubhouse, a lot of people were seated inside a private room. Among the crowd was Trey. But he was far from being the center of attention in that banquet because Nuve was the host of that event. Nuve was ranked significantly higher in their circle compared to Trey. Someone whispered. What's the matter, Lord Nuve? Are you facing any trouble? Just tell me if you need any men to do your biddings. Nuve, who was dressed formally for that occasion, responded with a smile. Nothing of the sort. It's just that the Lopez family gifted me with 10 million to stir up trouble at the ongoing West City Ecological Park construction site. I thought the task would be tricky, but things ended smoothly.